Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Thank you for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown, the music lover constantly seeking positive music. Now let's get into some music news. Justin Bieber went undercover on the Friends set on the Warner Brothers studio tour in Los Angeles. Dressed as a tour guide in an official uniform, hat, and mustache, which he looked kind of ridiculous. Looked like a fraud. But hey, apparently it worked. The singer welcomed unsuspecting visitors and took their photos. Bieber pushed buttons a bit, asking weird questions, fluffing the dusty pillows in fans' faces, and telling one couple that their photo looks much better when they're turned away from the camera. He even took a selfie with the duo, who had no idea they had just gotten a photo with the superstar. Now, of course, Ellen loves to do these types of bits, and it was for Ellen's show. It's pretty cute. You can check it out. So remember me reporting about Drag Race's Sherry Pie catfishing actors? Well, following allegations against Sherry Pie for catfishing and exploiting at least 5 actors over several years, RuPaul's Drag Race announced Friday that the season 12 contestant has been disqualified from the competition. Pie, whose birth name is Joey G something, I'm not going to pronounce that, is set to make her official television debut on episode 2 of season 12, airing Friday on VH1. The drag queen will still appear on Friday's episode and potentially in future episodes of the season, but will not be considered for the cash prize or crown. In light of recent developments in Sherry Pie's statement, Sherry Pie has been disqualified from RuPaul's Drag Race, a spokesperson for VH1 tells Billboard via email. Out of respect for the hard work of other queens, VH1 will air the season as planned. Sherry will not appear in the grand finale scheduled to be filmed later this spring. So according to a recent BuzzFeed report, 5 actors accused Sherry Pie of posing over email as a casting director named Allison Mossy, pressuring each of them to film videos of themselves in various states of undress as auditions for a fake play titled Bulk. One accuser said that she coerced him into masturbating on camera. You must have really wanted that damn role. I'm sorry. Friends actress, so speaking of Friends, Courtney Cox shared an IG clip of her daughter Coco Arquette's incredible take on Demi Lovato's Anyone. Cox accompanied her daughter while she played the piano. Who knew Courtney got skills on the keys? According to the TV star's caption, the impromptu performance was part of a deal with the 15-year-old. Courtney says, when you have a teenager, you barely get to see them. So much negotiating is done. She says that Coco traded me one song if I let her go to a party, so I took it. Now, the lawsuit against Universal Music over original recordings that were believed to be lost in a 2008 fire continues to thin as Soundgarden and Tupac Shakur's estate on Friday dropped their claims. In June, UMG was sued on behalf of 5 artists whose master recordings were feared to have been destroyed in the 2008 fire on Universal's backlot. Soundgarden, Tupac Shakur, Tom Petty, Hole, and Steve Early were the artists' estates. It was believed that it was their stuff. So now only Jane Petty and Early remain its plaintiffs, discovering is going on with regard to their claims, and the parties on March 6 filed a joint motion urging the court to rule on UMG's pending motion to dismiss the complaint, which was taken under submission following a hearing in November. Soundgarden and Tom Whaley, who represents the Afeni Shakur Trust, which controls Tupac Shakur's estate, on Friday voluntarily dismissed their claims against UMG, though they did reserve the right to later rejoin as class members. Now, Lady Gaga's Stupid Love shot straight to number 1 on Hot Dance Electronic Songs and launched at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. Gaga's highest debut on the chart since 2008's Applesauce. In other news, Roddy Ricch still remains unstoppable as the box holds at number 1 on the Hot 100 for a 9th week. Now, 5 lucky TikTok creators were granted a spot in Rihanna's Fenty Beauty's TikTok house in Los Angeles, complete with video-ready lighting and fully stocked makeup pantry. I just wanted to create a platform for the next wave of content creators, Rihanna said at the house opening. I think our generation is the sickest, the illest, the most creative. I can't do it alone. So to join in with the people who are influencing the world and my community and my generation, this is a hub. So I don't get it. I don't I don't know. I don't use TikToks. I don't know if I'm just being like dense and that's why I don't get it. But what the heck is a TikTok house? And why are people in this house? Whatever. Hopefully y'all get it, but I don't. So Taylor Swift did create a playlist for National Women's Day. The 27-song playlist includes songs by superstars like Halsey, Selena Gomez, and Kesha. Swift also highlights rising female stars including Leon, Clario, and Lapsley. Let's all celebrate together by honoring the women in our lives and the women out there pushing things forward, Swift tweeted along with the playlist link. Jay-Z and Blue Ivy Carter had the coolest daddy-daughter date night ever on Sunday. Sitting courtside at the Los Angeles Lakers game, they were lucky because ain't no more games going on now because of the virus. But to make the night even more special, Blue Ivy got to meet LeBron James after the game, and he promised her a signed basketball, which he promised to have to her by the time she gets home from school on Monday. She might not even have school on Monday. Their adorable encounter was captured on camera. Now, Billie Eilish's sold-out headlining arena tour began on Monday night, with the first stop at Miami's American Airlines Arena. As the first stop on Eilish's international trek, fans discovered that this tour involves an important message about body image. She says, though you've never seen my body, you still judge it and judge me for it. Why? She says it in a 2-minute clip, as well as a 22-song set. Jennifer Lopez revealed on Instagram that she was in attendance, posting sweet photos from meeting Eilish backstage with her daughter, Emmy, who was seemingly a bit overwhelmed upon meeting the Everything I Wanted singer. In wake of the coronavirus cancellations, Eilish postponed her remaining March dates on Thursday. So those concert goers were lucky AF, but sorry for the rest of y'all. Now, Christina Aguilera is a part of the Mulan live-action remake. She sang the iconic ballad Reflection for the 1998 animated film. That's dope how they're bringing back like the original singers. Like I reported last time that Celine Dion did the new Beauty and the Beast, so she was on both soundtracks, just like now Christina's on both Mulan soundtracks. But yeah, she sung that Reflection for the 1998 animated film, and she's singing now a dynamic anthem titled Loyal, Brave, True, and she delivered the first live performance of the song on Jimmy Kimmel Live on Tuesday night. Well, I guess I should have watched Katy Perry's Never Worn White video all the way through because I wasn't aware that she's pregnant with Baby Cat. I kept seeing this hashtag baby cat. I'm like, what the hell is that? In interviews since then, she shared her hope that she has a girl. And she said that for the first time, she's ready to have a baby. Now, Insane Clown Posse's Shaggy 2 Dope has a solution for combating coronavirus. So he thinks. In a video posted to the group's Instagram on Thursday, Shaggy 2 Dope, born Joseph Utzler, explained that consuming dirt snow is the best way to prevent getting COVID-19. He says, good old-fashioned dirt snow. God made dirt, don't hurt. Take out the rocks, and then it will build your immune system, he said before shoving a handful of dark gray snow into his mouth. Blah. After eating it up, he said, that's how you beat the effing system. Then the next day, Insane Clown Posse posted a photo of one of the band's members' chest covered in IVs, an EKG monitor patch, and a heart rate monitor device on his finger. The caption explained that Shaggy 2 Dope was the one in the photo. The caption says, straight from Shaggy's hospital bed tonight. Live, the Shaggy and Creep Show podcast. You read it correctly, live from Shaggy's hospital room bed, just hours away. Now, we are unaware of why he's in the hospital, but some suspect it's the dirt snow. Moral of the story, don't listen to artists about, your health and preventing viruses and infections. Perhaps only listen to the CDC. Now, Liam Gallagher recorded an MTV Unplugged set in Hull, UK's Hull City's Hall last year. Now that the session is going to be released wide, the former Oasis frontman announced plans to release MTV Unplugged on Friday, marking his second appearance on the show. I was honored to perform at the legendary showcase that is MTV Unplugged. He said in a statement, it was a lovely experience and the people of Hull were biblical and sounded fantastic. I hope you enjoy the record, LGX. The first time Gallagher was scheduled to perform on Unplugged was with Oasis in 1996. He famously sat out the set due to an illness and heckled his brother Noel from the audience as he sang. Now, after quitting drugs and alcohol following his release from prison last year, Soulja Boy, who I did not realize was in prison, but apparently it was for a loaded gun possession, the 29-year-old rapper is diversifying his portfolio by putting his money into a company called The Soap Shop. According to TMZ, Soulja heard it was a good opportunity and invested in a franchise location in Mississippi last year with his manager. Now, it couldn't have come at a better time. With the coronavirus outbreak, people are looking for soaps, disinfectants, and other products that kill germs. The Soap Shop is breaking sales records, going from selling 100 bottles of cleaning product per month to over 3,000 cleaning products in the last 2 months. Profits at Soulja Boy's specific Soap Shop location in South Haven, Mississippi have seen similar results, tripling sales. All right, get it, Soulja. So we will take a break and return with tour and festival news.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown. On to tours and festival news. Now, Coachella's postponement on Tuesday marked the beginning of a slew of postponed and or canceled events and tours. The highly anticipated Rage Against the Machine public service announcement reunion tour has been postponed due to fears over the spreading COVID-19 pandemic. It was slated to kick off on March 26th with a show at the Don Haskins Center in El Paso, Texas. It is now on hold until summer. After postponing 2 dates earlier this week due to what she said was a case of the common cold, Celine Dion announced that the postponement of a month plus of shows on her Courage World tour due to the spread of the COVID-19 coronavirus. She announced that all her gigs from March 24th through April 27th will be rescheduled. The pushing back of the remainder of Dion's North American tour will affect 14 markets from Denver to Los Angeles, Portland, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. New dates will be announced soon, with ticket holders encouraged to hold on to their original tickets. The remainder of Alan Stone's North American Building Balance tour is postponed until further notice. The Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo has been cut short amid the coronavirus fears. It has been expected to continue through March 22nd after its opening day on March 3rd. Well, it had been expected, but they cut that short. In a hastily called press conference, Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner delivered the news in a calm, deliberate manner. He said that until Tuesday, all of the cases that had been confirmed locally had been related to international travel. But on Tuesday, a case was confirmed in Montgomery County that was not tied to international travel. And that changed things. That was evidence of some community spread, he says. Despite the vastly decreased revenues, the livestock show and rodeo still would be able to give out youth scholarships. The Tour de Houston, scheduled for this week, will also be rescheduled. And if it cannot be rescheduled, it will come to an end, said the mayor. The annual Miami Music Week was effectively canceled, and the 20-plus-year-old annual citywide event, which generates about $80 million in revenue for the city, is canceled due to the virus. Thursday morning, Miami-Dade County declared its own state of emergency, while the city of Miami Beach nixed all planned pool parties. Club closures soon followed, including basement of popular mega clubs Live and Story. Many clubs who had booked European DJs were forced to cancel the events as soon as their travel ban was enacted, such as Cayo Taco and the 1-800-LUCKY DJ. The Ultra Music Festival in Miami has also been canceled. Now, what? We have some tour news that doesn't involve cancellations. Nathaniel Ratliff and Night Sweats, my bad, will join Bob Dylan for the Rock Icons 2020 summer dates. Dylan announced today that he will extend his never-ending tour with 25 dates, kicking off on June 4th at the Les Schwab Amphitheater in Bend, Oregon. Nathaniel and the Night Sweats will play a full 1-hour set prior to Dylan every night of the trek that includes stops in Washington, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Mississippi, a bunch of places. The tour will also hit iconic venues, including the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles and Forest Hill Stadium in New York. Hopefully, we will not have any reports about that cancellation. Kendrick Lamar, the Compton rapper, is among headliners for the 50th anniversary of the UK festival, which is slated to take place June 24th through 28th in Pilton, Somerset in England. What festival? My bad. So, there's some huge UK festival this June. I do not recall the name of it, so my bad on that part. But it has an all-star lineup that includes Anderson .Paak, FKA Twigs, TLC, Burna Boy, Camila Cabello. She's amongst all those black folks that she was making fun of not too long ago. Lana Del Rey, Khalees, Earth Gang, and more. And more performers will be announced as the weeks ahead. And hopefully that tour or festival will actually happen, whatever the name of it is. My bad. So now on to the top 10 songs played in the United States. According to Apple Music, we have Lil Uzi Vert is back at number 1 for the second week with Baby Pluto. Number 2, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Main, Roddy Ricch, The Box slid all the way down from number 1 to number 8, and now it slid back up to number 3. So yeah, way to come right back, Rowdy. I'm sure he'll get number 1 again. Number 4, Lil Uzi Vert, Silly Watch. Number 5, Lil Uzi Vert, Homecoming. Number 6, Lil Uzi Vert, P2. Number 7, Janae Akeo's BS. Then we have number 8, Lil Uzi Vert, Prices. Number 9, Lil Uzi Vert, That Way. And again, it's Lil Uzi Vert at number 10 with Commercial, but it's actually Lil Baby featuring Lil Uzi Vert. All right, so let's go on to the global. Number 1, Lil Uzi Vert, Baby Pluto. Number 2, Rowdy Rich the Box. Number 3, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Main. Number 4, Lil Uzi Vert, Silly Watch. Number 5, Lil Uzi Vert, P2. Number 6, Lil Uzi Vert, Homecoming. Number 7, Janae Akeo, BS, featuring her. Number 8, The Weeknd, Blinding Lights. Number 9, Lil Uzi Vert, Prices. And number 10, Future, Life is Good, featuring Drake. It came back. Okay. All right. So, what we got? What have I been jamming? Honestly, I haven't had much time to listen to anything, but I have been listening to Lauv, Lauv. I think it's Lauv, How I'm Feeling. I just found out about him when I was reporting new music in the Monday episode. And dude is dope. He has a nice singing voice. He isn't too poppy for me. But he's no R&B Justin Bieber either. Like, R&B is my thing. I can't get too pop. But he's in between. He's in between, so I dig it. He's doing his own thing, and apparently he has a huge following, including Bieber and BTS. Apparently BTS members have done covers of his songs in the past, and the whole group is featured on his track Who, featuring Anne-Marie. My standouts are Drugs and the Internet, F I'm Lonely, featuring Anne-Marie. What did I just say? I did say that BTS is on the track Who, and then as far as my standouts go, it's Drugs and the Internet, F I'm Lonely, featuring Anne-Marie, and then of course Who changes Canada with Alicia Cara, and Sad Forever. That Sad Forever has a cool video of when he premiered the song in the Philippines. He has a lot of cool videos. His stuff's kind of emo, especially his older stuff. Super emo, but like the cinematography and just the directing, just visually, they're really cool. And they have cool concepts. It's pretty different with all his videos. So we'll take a break and return with music history with Tupac.
Searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown. Now let's get into music history with Tupac, according to allmusic.com. Now, Tupac became the unlikely martyr of gangster rap and a tragic symbol of the toll its lifestyle exacted on urban Black America. At the outset of his career, it didn't appear that he would emerge as one of the definitive rappers of the 90s. He started out as a second-string rapper and dancer for Digital Underground, joining only after they had already landed their biggest hit. But in 1991, he delivered an acclaimed debut album, Tupacalypse Now, and quickly followed with a star-making performance in the urban drama Juice. Over the course of 1 year, his profile rose substantially, based as much of his run ends with the law as his music. By 1994, Tupac rivaled Snoop Dogg as the most controversial figure in rap, spending as much time in prison as he did in the recording studio. His outlaw mythology helped his 1995 album, Me Against the World, enter the charts at number 1. And it also opened him up to charges of exploitation. Yet, as a single Dear Mama illustrated, he was capable of sensitivity as well as violence. Signing with Death Row Records in late 1995, Tupac released the double-sided album All Eyes on Me in the spring of 1996, and the record, as well as its hit single California Love, confirmed his superstar status. Unfortunately, the gangsta lifestyle he captured in his music soon overtook his own life. While his celebrity was at its peak, he publicly fought with his rival, the notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, and there were tensions brewing at Death Row. Even with such conflicts, however, Tupac's drive-by shooting in September 1996 came as an unexpected shock. On September 13th, 6 days after the shooting, Tupac passed away, leaving behind a legacy that was based as much on his lifestyle as it was his music. The son of 2 Black Panther members, Tupac Amari Shakur was born in New York City. His parents had separated before he was born, and his mother moved him and his sister around the country for much of their childhood. Frequently, the family was at the poverty level, but Shakur managed to gain acceptance to the prestigious Baltimore School of Arts as a teenager. While he was at the school, his creative side flourished as he began writing raps and acting. Before he could graduate, his family moved to Marin City, California, when he was 17 years old. Over the next few years, he lived on the streets and began hustling. Eventually, he met Shock G, the leader of Digital Underground. The Oakland-based crew decided to hire him as a dancer and roadie, and as he toured with the group, he worked on his own material. Tupac made his first record appearance on the group's 1991 record, This Is an EP release. And he also appeared on their second album, Sons of the P. The following year, he released his own debut, Tupacalypse Now. The album became a word-of-mouth hit as Brenda's Got a Baby reached the R&B top 30. R&B? It was a rap track. So it reached the R&B top 30 and the record went gold. That's how I remember him. That was like my first introduction was Brenda's Got a Baby in that video. Oh, it was very sad seeing a baby in a trash can. That was very, it was burned into my mind as a kid. So, however, its blunt and explicit lyrics earned criticism for moral watchdogs, and Vice President Dan Quayle attacked the album while he was campaigning for re-election that year. Shakur's profile was raised considerably by his acclaimed role in the Ernest Dickerson's film, Juice. I love that movie. That is still a classic, which led him to the leading role in John Singleton's Poetic Justice that following year. By the time the film hit theaters, Tupac had released his second album, Strictly for My N-I-G-G-A-Z. Okay. Poetic Justice is my movie too, but Juice, that's my favorite Tupac movie by far. So the album, which became a platinum album, peaking at number 4 on the R&B charts and launching the top 10 R&B hit singles, I Get Around and Keep Your Head Up, which peaked at number 11 and 12 respectively on the pop charts. Late in 1993, he acted in a basketball movie, Above the Rim. That was a cool movie, but again, nothing tops Juice. Although Shakur was selling records and earning praise for his music and acting, he began having serious altercations with the law. Prior to becoming a recording artist, he had no police record. He was arrested in 1992 after he was involved in a fight that culminated with a stray bullet killing a 6-year-old bystander. The charges were later dismissed. Tupac was filming Menace to Society in the summer of 1993 when he assaulted director Alan Hughes. I forgot about that because I was like, he wasn't in that movie, but I totally forgot about this story. So he was sentenced to 15 years in jail in early 1994. The sentence arrived after 2 other high-profile incidents. In October of 1993, when he was charged with shooting 2 off-duty police officers in Atlanta. He gets around. How many states have we named so far? The charges were dismissed, but the following month, he and 2 members of his entourage were charged with sexually abusing a female fan. In 1994, he was found guilty of sexual assault. The day after the verdict was announced, he was shot by a pair of muggers while he was in the lobby of a New York City recording studio. Shakur was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison on February 7th, 1995. Later that month, Shakur began serving his sentence. He was in jail when his third album, Me Against the World, was released in March. The record entered the charts at number 1, making Tupac the first artist to enjoy a number 1 record while serving a prison sentence. While he was in prison, he accused Biggie, Puffy Combs, and Andre Harrell and his own close friend, Randy Stretch Walker, of orchestrating his New York shooting. Shakur only served 8 months of his sentence as Suge Knight, the president of Death Row Records, arranged for parole and posted a $1.4 million bond for the rapper. By the end of the year, Tupac was out of prison and working on his debut for Death Row. On November 30th, 1995, the 1-year anniversary of New York shooting, Walker was killed in a gangland-style murder in Queens. Tupac's Death Row debut, All Eyes on Me, was the first double disc of original material in hip-hop history. It debuted at number 1 upon its February release and would be certified quintuple platinum by fall. Although he had a hit record and with Dr. Dre duet California Love, a massive single in his hands, Shakur was beginning to tire of hip-hop and started to concentrate on acting. During the summer of 1996, he completed 2 films, the thriller Bullet, I remember that, the dark comedy Gridlocked, which also starred Tim Roth. Both those were cool, but again, Juice was the best. He also made some recordings for Death Row, which was quickly I guess those didn't come out. I guess those Death Row recordings didn't come out without Dre as a house producer, and as Knight became heavily involved in illegal activities. So at the time of his murder in September 1996, there were indications that Tupac was considering leaving Death Row and maybe even rap behind. None of those theories can ever be confirmed, just as the reasons behind his shooting remains mysterious. Shakur was shot on the Las Vegas Strip as he was riding in the passenger seat of Knight's car. They had just seen Mike Tyson, Bruce Seldon fight at the MGM Grand, and as they were leaving the hotel, Tupac got into a fight with an unarmed young black man. The case was never solved, but it has been suggested that this was the cause of a drive-by shooting, and it has also been suggested that Knight's ties to the mob and to gangs were the reason. Another theory is that the Notorious B.I.G. arranged the shooting as retaliation for Tupac's comments that he slept with Biggie's wife, Faith. Either way, Shakur was shot 4 times and he was admitted to the University of Nevada Medical Center. 6 days later, he died from his wounds. Hundreds of mourners appeared at the hospital upon news of his death, and the entire entertainment industry mourned his passing, especially since there were no leads in the case. Many believe his death would end in much hyped East Coast, West Coast hip-hop rivalry and decrease black-on-black violence. Sadly, 6 months after his death, Biggie Smalls was murdered under similar circumstances. As Tupac's notoriety only increased in the wake of his death, a series of posthumous releases followed, among them Don Culamati, The 7-Day Theory, issued under the alias Machiavelli. I had that cassette tape. Are You Still Down? Remember Me in 1997. Still I Rise, 1999. Until the End of Time, 2001. And Better Days, 2002. Till the End of Time, was that the one that Eminem did? Eminem did one that was pretty dope. I love me some Tupac. So I was saying that Selena, like the last episode, I was saying that Selena was like my first memory of being crushed about a singer dying. And Tupac, I can't even remember what happened first. But Tupac was major, like super major for me. I love Tupac. I loved his music. I was too young to really be like, oh, his lyrical content, like to be, but I loved it. And I really just thought he was fine. So I was super boy crazy, but Tupac was like, he was my dude and he was a dope rapper. And I just loved his energy and his movies. So I remember when I found out he was shot, and I remember when he died, I remember I was washing dishes and I was listening to BET News, and was probably listening to Video Soul, and there was like a news update that came on. Yes, Video Soul. And a news update came on, and I just remember because the kitchen, like you couldn't see the TV from the kitchen, so I had to like run and like look over like a rail and see, and I was in tears. Like that broke me for weeks. It's still sad, man, because you just never know. Just like imagine if Tupac was alive right now. Like we have Snoop, and you see how like the drastic change. Like Snoop went from like super gangsta, super murder was a case that they give me, to making gospel albums. Like where would Tupac be? Like I seriously believe he would be in politics, or he'd be an activist. He'd be an organizer. He'd be doing something like that. He probably wouldn't still, I don't know. He might be like periodically putting out albums like Jay-Z. But I do feel that because of his death and Biggie's death, it caused artists like Jay-Z to like step up. Cause really I was like, who the hell is Jay-Z? Where did he come from? There's this Hard Knock Life slaps, but who the hell is Jay-Z? But it caused them to step up. Like Snoop too, like step up. And now Snoop, he's the uncle. He's molding and building young minds like Nipsey. Gosh, Tupac and Nipsey. Those two deaths, right? Those still, they shake me, because not only were they making dope music and making music that was uplifting, they were actually doing things for the community. Nipsey on a whole nother level, because he was able to live longer and do way more. Tupac, he was still in his 20s when he died. And yeah, we still don't know what happened. There's a movie that came out. It was it was a series actually. Fergie's dude, Ferg. I can't even think of his name right now, but he was in it. And there's theories that like cops were behind it. There's just all kinds of theories out there. Nobody knows. Seems like the police and the investigations, like they started it, they stopped it, they brought it back, they stopped it. No one cares. That's what it really feels like. No one cares. But anyways, on that very sad note, I'm going to go ahead and say good night, goodbye. Thank you guys for listening. And until next time, I'm Gaelika Brown.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.